Um, so the break was a little bit short because we engage very attractive exchange of ideas. But we will have another break, maybe much longer at the noon, so we will use we can use this for discussions. Now the chair of European ASDAL Europe branch, Raul Cervantes from Friedensau University, Germany, is ready to disturb our certainties and to open new dimensions of library universe. Raul, amaze us.
Thank you. I would begin with our title. I think it's gonna give me the framework of my presentation, because after having heard the previous topic, we might ask or think that there is no relationship whatsoever. So I need to refer back to the title. So forging alliances requires conscious effort, because forging by definition is something that needs input. It doesn't happen by itself. You need to make it happen. Exceeding demands is like challenge, exploring ways to collaborate. So we are here in an exploration modus to see how things are done here, how things are conceived, and how we can learn. Because by experiencing how other people function, we learn. And then overcoming current challenges. I don't think there are libraries without challenges. The universe is full of challenges. And we do know our own challenges in our own settings. And we are striving to overcoming them, and hopefully sometimes even exceed expectations, surprising our users also. That's sometimes possible. So there is ASDAL International as an organization, as an association. And we are delighted to say that the structure has been changed. A few years ago, it was very American centralized. Everything happened there, and only every 5 years or 5 years in a country outside the US. So we changed that to be like what's happening now. The different chapters in the world are having their own conferences as we speak. I mean, this year there are 4 conferences taking place: Latin America, Africa, North America also, but not anymore as the dominant role, but as a chapter. So they became a chapter, just like ourselves. And in 4 years, we will have a global one, not necessarily in the US, but in another part of the world. ALICE is the consortium within ASDAL that is in charge of acquiring resources for those members. Some libraries are members of that consortium, and some are not. Our goal is to create, vielleicht, maybe, ALICE Europe also, so that we as a consortium can also acquire or buy knowledge, content for our local libraries, because content providers tend to operate within regions to maximize profits. So there is not such a thing as a EBSCO global membership that every library in the world can profit, but each region has to acquire their own license. Those are the politics of information content. So we do aspire to become a consortium, and we are at the moment just building the foundation in order to become such. So the foundation requires relationships. There is no other way to gain the acceptance and the trust from colleagues, but by visiting them, spending time with them, and in that way we forge that alliance. So my interest, my activity, my focus began in 2023 in Nairobi, and basically from there I started to visualize a more democratic association, and it developed in what it is now. And I have to be thankful to the leadership within ASDAL for being so open and so cooperative and so flexible that they allowed the redistribution of power. Last year we had our 4th conference in Frinsau in Germany, and we had 7 participants in total. Our topic was strengthening Adventist libraries in Europe. And we're delighted to be here at the 5th conference in Romania under the topic which we already have mentioned. We are also happy that we gain a new member. That's the Ukrainian Institute of Arts and Sciences, and his representative, even though he was in a difficult situation, the country of Ukraine is going through a difficult time, but the librarian is here with us. So that's something worthy to mention, that he made the extra effort to be here with us, because he, by being here, communicates that he values cooperation and that he wants to be part of it. As I said, ALICE International functions as a way to acquire content for all the members, and we aspire to be also a chapter of ASDAL, so that in the future we can also take that role at the regional level. Of course, there are some challenges on the way. For example, how can we operate in 2 different divisions? Because it's going to be European, but the church is, in Europe, is divided in 2 divisions, or maybe 3, if we consider Russia part of Europe. So here are some of our goals that we want to take over as a content procurer, the procurement of content, the training of library personnel, and at the patron level, providing information literacy, which you mentioned today, and virtual referencing. There is a tool that we already can provide for those who want to take on the challenge of providing virtual referencing. It is a commercial product, and if you're interested, talk to me, we can discuss that possibility. You have to be willing to dedicate some hours of your personal to help not only your potential patrons, but also patrons from other libraries who are joining the cooperative at the digital level. It is a cooperative project where as a librarian, help my own patrons online, but also those of our colleagues from other libraries within our consortium, but also outside of our consortium to the global network of libraries who are connected to that source. There is the Association of European Theological Libraries. I have been there already twice, and that's where I met. Only twice? Yeah, only twice. That's where I met Mario, our previous speaker. And this association is not open for individual libraries. They are open for associations. In order for us to join officially, we need to petition access, and I have done that, so we want to join them as an association, that is the ASDAL Europe. It has been a process of about a year, and we are at the point where the final decision, the final voting is going to take place in Norway this year. You are invited and encouraged to consider, as a library, sending a representative of your institution to that conference. When? In September. There is information on the website of BEF. And as Mario already mentioned, the topic of last year was sustainability in European theological libraries. And I presented last year the topic of sustainability within Seventh-day Adventist libraries. And the topic that the focus that I chose was the dignity of books. How do we treat the written book with the dignity it deserves? I also presented a concept that was developed by Romanian students working at the library at that time. They developed, in conjunction with me, a concept that we called 12 Principles of Shelf Reading, which is a very comprehensive and holistic approach to the treatment of books. So it begins with a worker from the library. When he or she begins her shift or his shift, he goes to the returned trolley, selects his or her books that belongs to her area. She or he makes sure that the optic of his area or her area is well maintained. After he has secured the optic by straightening books that may be not in the correct position, so then the other step is done, which is making sure that the sequence of the numbering is correct, and if a book is there that doesn't belong, then it's put in its correct place. After that, they go back and take out the book, feel the book, see the book, if it's in good physical condition by the external judgment. If it is not, it is sent to a place, another procedure for repairing it. After they've done that, they come back and review the content of the book. If it has damage, if it has been underlined or colored, it needs to be either corrected or put in the system so that the next user is not being held accountable. And after that is all done, they do a analysis. It's more abstract. So they need to determine if the book is still relevant. They need to do some research. Is there a newer edition that we might be able to acquire? And number 9, they are encouraged to establish a communication with the professor who is more likely to be in charge of that area. For example, applied theology, so they need to go to that professor who teaches that area and establish a conversation. They are also encouraged to meet with them at a very casual level by inviting them to a coffee or tea, and that is paid by the library. So they need to first make sure that they establish a personal connection with the professor in order to gain trust. And after that, they present their findings to me. We decide if those items need to be taken out of the system, and if they do, in what way, either for recycling or for digitizing. And if by recycling, just like that, or maybe we need to be more sensitive when it comes, for example, with such precious material like religious books where the name of God is mentioned. Do we just throw the books like that, or is there such a ritual that we can use in order to give them dignity? And that was my topic last time, and at that conference I also mentioned my topic of today, which is the concept of creating mindfulness in the libraries. Wellness and mindfulness in the library setting. We do know the concept of New Start, which is a health concept from the church. And we do know that the N stands for nutrition, the E, exercise, W, water, S, sunlight, T, temperance, A, air, and R, rest, and T, trust. So the other column is the adaptation to the library setting, A meaning still nutrition, E, exercise, W, water, S, sunlight. Some retain their same meaning, but others change a little bit. T would be time management instead of temperance, but it has to do with control, self-control, of course. And air, it doesn't change. R still stays as rest, and the T is trust, temperature. So the explanation is as follows. In the field of nutrition, we are thinking of developing our own power bar so that the students can buy that and get maybe the minerals that they need to optimize their brain capacity in order to retain knowledge in a more effective way. There is also a program by an Adventist doctor in California, Weimar College, where the aspects of brain health is yes. Mm-hmm. And we have acquired a license in order to show the content to our students so that they also learn how to take care of their nutritional habits in order to optimize their brain power. And we are also implementing some cooking courses. We do have a kitchen in the library, and we have already used it for cooking courses. And I'm going to give an example later on. In the area of exercise, we are acquiring some fitness equipment specifically designed for libraries and offices. So they are not your gym equipment, but different. To be installed in certain places of the library where students can maybe relax their muscles if they have been there sitting for a long time, maybe stretching. In the area of water, we have stations where there is sparkling water, room temperature water. So one of the challenges that libraries and churches face at the moment is that parishioners are stopping to attend their religious services, but they are also becoming creative and having concerts in their churches, and they are starting to attract people. And I think libraries are also becoming obsolete, the buildings themselves, because they are not being visited by their traditional users. So we are being challenged to redefine the concept of libraries. And I have to say that our fountain of water does attract people. They come to us, maybe just for the water. They refill their bottles, but they come to the library, and that's just gaining some influence, but with the hope that they maybe see our exhibition as they go through. We never know, but we take account that a visitor enters the library, and that for us is a good reason to claim that we are still relevant and that we are still worthy of funding. Sunlight, it does, in our case, we have enough natural light, and we have to make sure that in the places where there is not supposed to be so much light, that we also adapt it. In the field of temperance, so moderation, self-restraint, time management, goal settings, in the work of workshops or seminars. That's our approach to it. We are still in the learning phase. We are constantly adapting this chart. In the area of air, we of course ventilate our library maybe every 3 hours so that students get fresh air and they don't become sleepy. But also we began with a new concept called scent notification. It has to do with aroma. Some might call it aromatherapy, but it's more like geared toward marketing. So institutions do have a logo, and that's their visual representation, but there is also a way to enter the subconscious level of the users through scent. And we are at the moment testing the system. We acquire already the system. Especially in our events, we used scent in order to make the place more comfortable, more enjoyable. But there is a company that helps you design your own scent for your library so that you can develop it and market it as your own. Just like your logo, you can also have your scent that is identifiable. And hopefully when students come inside the library, they can sense this aroma. And then what we're trying to do is develop it so that in our books we can insert maybe a piece of paper with the aroma of the library, and they can have that connection, so that even though they are not in the library, they can relate to the experience of being in the library. That's in the field of marketing, but I think it can help us also. Rest, we do need a place where people can come inside and pray. Some people have approached me lately and have asked about such a place. Of course, we are not. I think this concept is more ingrained in Catholicism or other churches, but not in Adventism, because we do believe that God is everywhere and that you can pray wherever you are. There is no need to go to a specific place, but there are some people who do want a dedicated place for that, and we might need to respond to that. We are also exploring the possibility of establishing some intermittent hours of the day when we do play instrumental music in order to elevate the maybe not spiritual faculties but cognitive faculties of the brain as an stimulation. And then T is trust, but in our setting is more like protection from extreme weather patterns. It puts us in a difficult situation because our library was designed to be responsible with the environment, and they don't have like a climatization, and we are exploring possibilities to provide an alternative. But the library should be a place of refuge where people of every conceivable point of view can enter the library and make sure that he is safe or she is safe, independent of his or her convictions, and that they are going to be protected from extreme weather, be it cold or heat. So we need to live up to that principle. We're not there, but we're working towards those. Those are the plans for this year. And in our next Theological European Library Association, I'm going to give an update of the percentages where we find ourselves in this self-assessment. I'm going to give you some examples of what I talked about. This is already mentioned as the course of Professor Dr. Neil Nidley. It's about maximizing brain power. And on the left side would be like the kind of devices that we want to acquire. Actually, it's already acquired, where students can just relax their muscles. In winter, we are also illuminating our facade so that people can become more inspired to come to the library, using some light. It changes the...
That student reads in this position?
No.
No, it takes the break. But we can put some bookshelves.
Right. On the ceiling. And that's our color, official color, but we change the light according to the date. Mm-hmm. Lila. Yeah. And this is the device that produces the aroma. Well, you create it. There is a company that creates your own scent, or you can buy according to, we decided to begin with the different stages of the year. So there is one for winter, summer, spring, and autumn. And the goal is to create memorable involving the senses, and the background is the sanctuary model, where scent played a role, and we do believe that the library is the facto sanctuary of the institution because of our opening hours that we are there. Like, we are open almost all the time, like 8 in the morning to 10 p.m. And there are certain areas that are open the entire night for students, so they can have access to it with the entire night. And we're open throughout the year, irrespective of holidays. We only close on Sabbath. So we do believe that we have great chance to be the encountering places where students not only can individually have encounters with the divine by allowing them the environment to achieve that level of experience, concentration with that source of wisdom and knowledge. And we need to create that kind of atmosphere so that that encounter takes place. So we do see ourselves as a modern sanctuary, and that's the way we are repositioning ourselves in this age where libraries are becoming obsolete. Yes, we need to be inspiring places. We really need to compete with their own comfortable zones. Maybe their own apartment is very comfortable. We need to make the libraries more comfortable and more attractive than their own places of living. It is a challenge, but that's our goal. Regarding our cooking courses, we did one last, that was a few months ago in April. So that was a Passover celebration with cooking, and also at the end it was a gala dinner. We wanted it to be kosher, but at the same time vegan. And it was full. Of course, we don't have much place. As a library, our kitchen is not huge, but it was enough to fill it, and also the celebration was also very well attended. It was like a test, and it was successful. I think we might be able to even extend it to the community. And by community, I don't mean the campus, I mean the surrounding place. So in that cooking course, we came up with 4 factors about cooking, about food. And first of all is the sanctification, and that's a very Jewish concept, where people do not eat because they want to be healthy. That's not their objective. Yeah. Their objective is to sanctify their lives. And the other one is health, which is a more Adventist concept. We do know that we understand that the concept of that the body is the temple of God, where He resides via the Holy Spirit, and that we need to make it an optimal place for Him to reside. But the main objective is the health aspect. That's very Adventist. It doesn't mean that the other aspects are not contained in the Adventist philosophy, but it is not stressed. Stressed is the health aspect, the physical body. And then we integrated the ethical and justice aspects of the more recent vegan movement, where animals are treated as equals and worthy of our respect. And the fourth was actually a contribution of the cook who was there. He said, well, it's okay, we have 3 axes, but there is one missing. And he mentioned the delight area, which it means the food must not only provide sanctification, not only health, not only justice, but also delight. delight in seeing, delight in smelling, and in taste. As a cook, of course, I can understand that he was more aware of that. So that's our concept about cooking courses. We do want to go into that area, into using those for access, but also with the goal of benefiting students to achieve their maximal potential in academics. So some extra roles that we are taking as a library is that we also offer postal services. That's our postal area in the community. So at first it was a challenge because it entailed losing some space, but then I figured that it helped us with our attractiveness strategy of getting people to us. You know, they need to come to us. They need to know that we exist. They need to know that we do offer something. And the traffic has increased by of course, people who want to send something. They go to the post office, but in the post office we also have some of our new books. So it's a combination. We have also souvenirs, so the visitors can also buy things and they create this bonding. So I think we need to be creative, be open, be flexible in order to make our libraries centers of influence, so that we fight the tendency of being irrelevant. And I think we need to learn a great deal in this area. I believe that Mario is going to help us understand, that's my expectation also, how the library can retain its importance. I think it's in the description of his topics, and I think I'm going to get some insights in that area, how the library can regain its, maybe not regain, but retain its own function and mission. And I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for this presentation of multitude of original ideas that you apply at Friedensau Adventist University Library. Did you observe that after those events and initiatives, the library became a hub of interests for people and for students? Are they looking to go to library more than before?
I think we are in the early stages. We are collecting the data. I wouldn't say that they became like extra interested, but I do want to say that the library is active. They know that it is doing something, and that we are not only an academic library, but also a public library. Because of the legal situation in the campus is not only a campus, it's also a legal political entity in the area. So we are also required to provide cultural events to the communities around. So we are both public and private. I do hope that at the end of the year, the numbers reveal some increase. Yeah, that's our goal.
Do you receive money from the state, being a public institution that they ask to do some projects for the community? So maybe they pay for that.
Not directly, but there are possibilities, yes.
There are possibilities.
Hmm?
Yes. We wish you to have success with that, with the state.
Yeah, thank you.
I will ask you and Mario also, after you will stay here for a while, if you have some recommendations for our library to make some changes, if you observe something that you can advise us, because you are a specialist and it is not a frequent fact that a specialist in library sciences visit our library. So we want to profit for your presence here to have some advices from you these days, if you not for now, but these days. Any other?
I've loved how you mapped the acronym New Start and use it within the library. I never thought of this. And definitely it opened my mind, and it's applicable to any other environment, or giving an opportunity to bridge with those outside of our area. So my question is precisely in this direction, because I didn't have the chance to visit Friedensau so far. Based on what you described, my understanding is that the library is within the campus, the same as we have it here, let's say a closed area, yes? Okay, then what are the options or strategies to bridge with the outside, with the community? Maybe theological books are not of interest to them, that's for sure, or it is too narrow as an area of research and interest. Still, they have kids, they have other needs that can be fulfilled within this community. Is there any ongoing project or initiative, some thoughts in this direction? Because I find some similarities between these two environments, and the same for us. People might cross the street or go pass by university, but none of them will actually enter through the gate, come up on the hill, find the main building, ask where the library is, go to the second floor. It's a huge trip in itself, you know.
Initiate person, a liver will find the
Yes, maybe you have some advices in this area as well, because if we want to be close to the others, what would be one of the options to bridge?
First of all, Friedensau is not close. It's not a close community. It might convey the impression that it is, but it is not. It is a challenge because some people do have that expectation that it remain as such, but it is not. We are a public library as well. We consider ourselves also a public library because the surrounding towns around Friedensau, which are maybe 5 or 10, I don't know, they do come to us in order to use our children's library, for example. Families come from outside because the local libraries, they only have like 2 hours open in the week. So we're always open. Also, people who are doing research and are ordering their interlibrary loans, they pick them up in our libraries. Some students from other larger universities like Magdeburg, they also come to our libraries because on Sunday they want a quieter environment. So we are not close. We are very open to the general public. And I said it's a challenge because sometimes you want to just have it for your own, right? It's an idyllic place, and you want it to stay that way. But the fact is that there are a lot of tourists. They come there and they explore. They also explore the library. We have exhibitions, so they go visit it. We also sell our books, our duplicates, which is becoming like a business model in order to finance certain projects. Actually, we do sell more books than we sell souvenirs, maybe 500 euros per month.
This is library commerce or of the university? Are you an autonomous? Have you autonomy among university, or they pay to the university?
We are not autonomous, but we work together with them. So every project, it's approved by them.
Is approved and is for your benefit, for the library benefit, or because we had a few occasions when we had some income for photocopying or for scanning, but the money goes to school treasury.
Mhm. It also goes there, but it says library donations, for example.
Oh.
And ultimately, the institution finances our project, so it doesn't matter for us.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not a problem.
Okay.
Did I answer completely?
Partially. It was the second part, making the environment more easy to reach out by those in the neighborhood.
Well, the place is very accessible. It's not like in a hill. It's very visible when you drive. It's right there. You don't have to make an extra effort. Actually, it is the most visible building once you come inside, the campus.
And what would be your advice, based on the things that you observed so far here? What can we do, like to bridge and to make the place easier to be reached out by those in the neighborhood? Like there are 3 schools nearby, and those kids, the vast majority of them, they do need books. They don't have the best financial situations, and will be an opportunity also to offer them a different perspective in a Christian environment.
Right. As I said, we do offer all kinds of activities, exhibitions, book readings, films also. We show films. And we just need to make your activities known to the general public. Just explore possibilities. Just have a little bit of initiative. Each place has its own idiosyncrasy. I don't know the dynamics of this place, but I just what I can say is be willing to explore new areas. Like, for example, who would think that a library offers cooking courses or show movies or films?
Raul, I missed a little bit of the presentation, but I wanted to appreciate specifically the intentional effort of presenting the library as a hospitable place, going the extra mile in terms of environment, of comfort, of wellness, which we do have as values, but traditionally we have had these less associated with the idea of the library. Things were planned for, well, light, air, comfort ergonomically, but it's going beyond that, and this is something that I really appreciate, and thank you for bringing it up. And this also comes in as, I wouldn't say a hook necessarily, but like an entry point that you can add to the community outreach, which is a larger understanding of the library, not necessarily as a repository of information, but also an institution that belongs to the community and to the people that belong to that community. So it's books for the people, not just books for the sake of shelving. Thank you.
Right. I wanted to add something about the challenge because it has to do with challenges. And other challenges, for example, when we do have users, families that come with children, and the first reaction is, no, this is not a place for children to be screaming because there are students who are learning. They need that environment too. And so there is like this friction that happens inside of you as a librarian. At what point I require the people to leave. Up until now, I have discovered that I didn't have to do anything. People, it's like a dynamic, natural dynamic. Families explore a little bit, then by the very nature of the dynamic of the family, they leave the library sooner than expected. So, but it is a challenge because we need to be flexible and not so rigid in our expectations.
If I may follow up on this particular challenge, I have seen well, Friedensau has a luxury of space in terms of well, floors and rooms specifically. I noticed they have a, it's more like of a room, but it is connected and you can walk from the regular shelves into that space that is dedicated for children. So it has smaller chairs, smaller tables, children literature, and it's so well, so it's a bit hidden and insulated that even if they speak, nobody's going to be really disturbed because the study carrels are very far away from there. So they can afford it in terms of space. What do you think of the idea of if you don't have the space, you can set up a corner or shelves where you can have appropriate literature for the various kinds of public you need, like not necessarily students, regular public, not or for children, but you can set aside time. So a student that is very pressed and he needs quietness, he can come and be sure, and the general public can come at a certain time period. What do you think of this?
We haven't reached that point, but it's a good idea. Thank you. Up until now, we haven't been able to manage it. Yeah. Another challenge that I think is emerging is that the library, more than a concentration of shelved books that are maybe not more relevant, is that they do need places to meet and to discuss and to learn as a group and sometimes individually. So the library has to evolve also structurally to provide more spaces to meet and to learn, individual and also as a group. It's also a challenge because it is not very welcome, the idea that we need to expand. But it is in my mind that we do need to expand in that area.
I'll just have a short comment. I mean, I'm very glad that Raul brings us this example of how a library can stretch its services through the community, because it's really important, and it's also really hard to break the stereotypes of what library is. And a library should be envisioned as a platform. And there is no such a thing that shouldn't be placed in a library in terms of services, but you have to somehow correspond to your communities, to your users, and listen to the users, and sometimes actually somehow not wait them to come to your library, but go where the users are. And now I'm quoting actually the David Lankes, who 15 years ago wrote the Atlas of New Librarianship, in which he says the mission of libraries is facilitating knowledge creation in their communities. So he wanted to somehow stress out that our old-fashioned expectations of libraries to be organized around books and collections is not going to work, and it's not working anymore. So sometimes communities are where you explore the services that they need, and that's how you make not just relationship, but the trust between the patrons and the librarians. So I'm really glad that you showed us how library actually stretches itself out of its walls. Yeah.
Raul. Now is my turn to have the presentation, but I have a proposal for you, because as I understand, there are no library reports that supposed to be at 5:30 p.m. after Mario's presentation. I can move the presentation from now to then, if you feel better with the idea, because I don't know, my presentation is entitled "Being a Small Library in a Big World," and yeah, it's related with what Raul has presented to us, and is related because we need to do what Raul does there at Friedensau. So my proposal is is only an opinion, maybe. Do you think is better to have my presentation after Mario's presentation at 5:30 or now?
I think it creates balance.
Creates, yeah, creates balance. So for now we finish our morning meeting, and we will meet again at 4 p.m. We will have Professor Mario Hibert with a new insightful presentation, and then I will present my own lecture. So see you soon.